Hair. I love all of Croatia's hair. Thank you.
My question is, if you were invisible for 10 minutes, what would you do?
Might have a fourth child.
I'm not sure that answer reads well.
For 10 minutes?
It's like,
I have a fourth
somebody would be
minutes.
like, oh my god, I fucked the tiniest little prick.
Wow. Alright, I'm gonna reverse back. So 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That's half time.
Yeah, that's your you gotta watch the clock too, because like if you're close enough, you get something that stops and you're like, oh, sorry, I thought I had another minute.
There's so many ways to go with this, and I'm gonna try and avoid them. I would take a nap. I'm not kidding. Genevieve, I'm 42, so 2 years ago, Jen's like, hey, I know you're not into surprises or whatever, like, just give me some guidance for your 40th birthday. Like, what do you want? Do you want, like, a gift? Like, do you want, like, to have friends over or be somewhere, just the two of us? She's like, what do you want for your 40th birthday? And I was like, a nap? And that was it. So I'd probably nap.
That's a real waste of a superpower. You know you can do that visible too, right? I think I would probably, if I were invisible for 10 minutes, I think I would sneak into the Oval Office. Swap out the text of one of the executive orders that Donald Trump is about to sign. Like, he's gonna sign an executive order that says we must cut down every last living tree in America's national parks, right? And right before he signs it, I'd swap out that text for another one that says, if you're a registered Republican, you're automatically transgender. That's what I would do. But Jared would be mad.
I would be like, oh god, I'm transgender. I didn't know we could fly to fucking DC. Like, that's more than 10 minutes. What would you do?
Oh, come on now.
You didn't have an answer?
I would sneak with you on a plane.
Alright. Well, you wouldn't have to sneak, you'd be invisible. You could just walk.
Right. Then you would appear mid-flight on the plane and we'd be like, what the fuck? How did she get in here?
Well, you're welcome on our flights anyways. Thank you for coming from Croatia. Croatia? They're neighboring townships. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, I'm from Ukraine. This is my first JIB call. I'm seeing you actually, and I'm still trying to figure out how everything works. And I think that for this 2 days, I didn't find a moment to say that I love you guys. You're such cool actors, and you look like such great dads, and you have great sense of humor, and you're considerate, Jared. You really pay attention to people that are here, and I really appreciate it all.
What did she say?
You pay attention and you're considerate. She said you guys about the first things, and then she said, and particularly Jared is considerate and pays attention to other people.
Who said that? That's okay. Thank you very much. Sorry. We're also 10 years old. No, thank you.
Yeah, I haven't even finished watching the seasons, so I'm really hurrying you to the fun.
Just wait.
question is, yesterday, Misha, you were talking about your childhood, and I'd like to know what kind of teenager were you? Like maybe you have some interesting stories from more crazy stories from your teenage years. Also, Jared.
I'm more interested in his stories. No, he has some amazing stories.
The teenage years were interesting. I did. I don't know what to tell you. That's a very broad. Tell me about that 6-year chapter of your life. We have time. I didn't really fit in very well. I was kind of a weird kid. I mean, I still don't fit in very well, but I was, I just wasn't properly socialized, so I did not know how to fit in. We didn't even have a television, so I wasn't aware of what was going on in pop culture, and we moved all the time, so I didn't have like a close group of friends that I knew well, and I think that resulted in me being very weird. But that sometimes also resulted in me just not understanding that like certain things weren't normal. So I kind of also did some things that were kind of cool and interesting just because I didn't know that you didn't do those things. In my show last night, I talked about like how my mother really like beat into us this idea like you're not supposed to follow rules. And I was like, I ran with that. I thought that was a great piece of advice. And I did things like my mom went on a trip and left me and my brother at home when I was 15. And as soon as she left, it was the winter, I was like, awesome. And I just called school and I was like, hello, this is Misha's mom, and he is very sick, so he won't be in school for the next few days. How do I know it's the next few days? I just know he won't be there, he's very sick, he's not gonna get better, okay, bye. And then my mom had left the keys to her car, and so I took my brother and a couple of friends to Vermont skiing, and I didn't have a driver's license, and I had never driven before, and I was like, how hard can driving a standard transmission car be? And then at one point we ended up like in a ditch on the side of the road because it was winter and the roads were covered with snow and I didn't know how to drive, and then like other drivers had to stop and help these children pull a car out of a ditch. And mercifully, nobody bothered to check to see if I had a license or any kind of identification, because I didn't. But we did things like that fairly often, and it was great. And I look at my kids now, and they're like, oh, fuck, they're like, they follow every rule, and they're like, Dad, is it okay if I go in there and order my, a drink myself? And I'm like, oh my God, when I was your age, I was already committing felonies. Get your shit together.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's amazing. I think he has a million of them.
What about you as a teenager? Like
me, I was nothing bad.
You were super smart, super precocious. High school, right?
I was like a pretty studious kid. I was pretty shy, which is bizarre. That's why I think y'all have to bear the brunt of me being absurdly. I'm not gonna finish that sentence. I was pretty quiet. I think I had a lot going on in my head. I think you and I both have something where we have a lot going on in our head, and it's like, am I gonna mute 100% of it and just kind of have to release it later, or 90% of it and get 10% out now, or am I just gonna go and like say whatever crosses my mind? Your mind works very quickly. Like you all know this, I'm sure. But when something's happening, we'll be in the green room here or wherever, in a plane, on set, in a truck, having to set, and his brain is like, brrr, go. So I think I'm aware sometimes when you're, being reserved, that your brain is probably like saving up a lot of stuff. It's gonna come out at some point.
Or it's just like trying so hard to come up with anything, and it's coming up dry.
Yeah, pretty fun. But I was kind of a nerdy kid also. So thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Yeah, appreciate you.
I was also pretty shy. shy and reserved. My younger brother was like really outgoing and like always talked to strangers, and I was like, oh my god, how does he do that? Like, how does he talk to people? And it's such a funny thing to think that we wind up in this environment. And both of us, I think, ended up being fairly comfortable being in the limelight. But if you had known me at 15, you would have been like, no, fucking that kid, not that kid. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Hi, how are you?
Hi, fine, and you?
Doing really well, thank you.
I'm interested, do you play board games at home with your family, and when? If, what games do you play?
Do we play board games?
Yes.
Yeah. We do Taco Cat Cheese Go. Not
Yes!
really a board game, but we do.
Or is a board game?
You know that Taco Cheese Cat? Yeah,
It's a card game.
It's a card game. We do like Monopoly Go. It's called Monopoly Go.
Yes.
It's also not really a board game. We do puzzles. We'll do board game. We'll do like Legos and puzzles and do stuff that's board adjacent, I suppose. But we'll do Monopoly Go, where you have like it's Monopoly without a board. Yeah, we don't play board games. I don't like being bored. We did Monopoly, the board game. No, we don't. We do chess. I do chess with my kids, my sons. I do chess with my dad too. No, is there a good board game for like 10 years old, give or take 3 years?
Carcassonne, for example. It's
Carcassonne?
Carcassonne, yes. It's,
What's that in English?
it's a Carcassonne in English. It's
Carcassonne.
Carcassonne. It's a city in France, Carcassonne,
Okay.
and
This sounds like, do you work for the city of Carcassonne?
no, I'm just the board games. I'm organizing board gaming events.
Oh, no way.
And I know many publishers, and Carcassonne is from a German publisher called Hansi Glück.
Amazing. In Germany's near Croatia, right?
Somewhere close.
I'll get Carcassonne. I do play Pokemon with my 11-year-old. My people, yeah, I've gotten really into Pokemon with my son. It's a cool thing. But how do you spell Carcassonne?
Carcassonne.
That was like 35 letters. C-A-R-S-S. Okay, Carcassonne. Okay, all right. I'll look it up. Do you play board games?
We play a few board games. We'll play Settlers of Catan every once in a while. We'll play Monopoly every once in a while, but it takes for fucking ever, so we never finish. Bananagrams is actually kind of great, and you can modify it for like the little kids. They don't have to connect the words, or it's just a fun game. But chess, we play. My son has this thing, like he's always been this way, but even when he was a little kid, he's not like ruthlessly out to win, and he's not a sore win, he doesn't rub it, he's like a very gracious winner when he wins something, but he fucking hates to lose. So it's not that he needs to win, he just needs to not lose. It's a really clear thing with him too. And so I felt like it was my duty as a parent to teach him a lesson. Like, you're gonna have to go through life learning what it's like to lose sometimes. So instead of letting him win when we played chess, I would beat him at chess. And then he decided, you know what? He actually, he just applied to high school, and he wrote his high school application essay about this. It was like this moment when he decided, I'm gonna beat my dad, and I'm gonna really destroy him. And we recently played chess with him blindfolded, and me starting with one rook removed. Him starting with one rook removed, and he beat me in like 10 minutes. It was fucking horrible. And he taught me a lesson, like I didn't realize how much I hated to lose that badly. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
You provoked it.
I did provoke it.
So it is Carcassonne.
Carcassonne, I love that game. Thank you, I'll buy it. That's amazing about chess. Thank you so much. Or merci. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? So first of all, Jared, you really need to work on your Italian because you speak a lot of Spanish.
Ah,
Sorry to say this.
che cazzo fai?
Perfect.
Allora, namo.
Okay. Allora,
Andiamo ragazzi.
my
allora.
question was actually...
Wine.
Ti amo. So my question was...
Grazie.
Okay, you're kind of distracting me. My question was, so Misha, you wrote a book, you wrote a lot of poems, and Jared, you read a lot. I was wondering if you could, or if you have to recommend just one book, like a life-changing book, which one would it be and why?
Wow.
I know, I stole the question actually from Lisa Berry.
Oh wow.
Yes. And I was answering it and I was like, I'm like, what
Yeah.
you guys?
Are you still? I remember you gave me Life of Michael K. Life of Michael.
Yeah, Life and Times of Michael K.
Yeah. That's God, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's such a great. I wonder. I want you to answer first because you're better at this than I am. But it's like if you asked me a year ago, I probably would have had a certain answer. A year prior to that, a different answer. I've been kind of, and we just talked about this. You made it to an extent. I haven't been reading self-help necessarily, but I've been reading things non-fiction recently. I have some ideas, but I want to think about it. I wonder if you have something that clicks immediately.
I mean, I don't know. There are a few books that I have come back to more than once. Michael K. I actually read last year again. Yeah. It was kind of a fascinating experiment because we both read the same book, and I was like, read this book. It'll be interesting to hear your perspective. I find it very uplifting. And you read it, and you had the right, I think, the accurate reading of the book, which is like, this is the most depressing story ever. But somehow my brain had contorted it into like, isn't this a beautiful message? It's not a beautiful message. Spoiler alert. But there are certain stories that just end up sort of echoing in my mind more than other ones, and like I feel like the long tail of them. That book is one of them. There's this other book that I've referenced before that had this strange impact on me. It's called The Annals of the Former World by John McPhee. And it's this like 600-page book on the geology of North America. And that sounds like such a boring thing. But reading this book made me think about the physical world in a different way. Like, it changed the way I thought about the physical world, and it changed the way I thought about the spectrum of time. And that was just kind of cool to have like one book. And it's probably because I wasn't a student of geology, and it was kind of like this whole universe that I hadn't been exposed to. And then I read it and I was like, holy shit, it's like a reframe. You can think about things in a different way. So I guess books that cause me to just think about things in a different way to varying degrees are the books that I love the most. And it can happen in all different kinds of ways, you know.
Did you do Pale Blue Dot?
What?
Carl Sagan?
No.
Did you? That's the way you were describing that book. I think it's called A Pale Blue Dot.
Yeah.
It's Carl Sagan, yeah. I don't know if it's thin blue, it's Pale Blue Dot. But that to me was the same thing. When I talk about seeing the earth from far away, it's just a pale blue dot. And going like, oh yeah, we're just humans. Like, no one's going to give a shit about us in 100 years or 1,000 years. Let's make the most of our time here. That was kind of a similar feeling I had reading that book. The two books I brought with me are books I've read before. I mean, I have 100 books on my iPad, but the actual hard copy books that I brought were The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, W-I-E-S-T, and The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher, who we'll be talking to in like 2 weeks. And they both help me think about myself and the way I behave in a way that I think is going to be helpful. No, I'm going to stop that. They have opened my eyes to different ways of thinking and acting and reacting that I'm certain will be helpful for myself and my friends and my family for the rest of my life. Yeah. What about you? Do you have one?
Yes, Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom.
Oh yeah, Tuesdays with Maury. Yeah, that made me cry. Yeah, that's a good book. Yeah. Thank you so much for your question.
Is the awkward thing
They've been desperately trying to get us off stage for 20 minutes.
I started to go, and another book I like is...
And then when I was in 3rd grade,
One second. Thank you all so much.